Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michelle, and I'm coming to you live from Milano. Here we have Lisa. She's another teacher at Milano Meravigli. She's going to be on mute for a while because, unfortunately, there is some work being done in the apartment upstairs. So there's a lot of noise but Lisa will be handling the comments. So if you are watching, write to us. Tell us where you're from, what you do, and what are you up to today? It's day 21 of the quarantine. We're teaching, we're working. Tell us what you're doing today, what your plans are. Lisa, what are your plans for today? How is your Monday going?
So my Monday, I don't know if people can hear, is a bit annoying. So I don't want to annoy you guys with this noise. But yeah, no, it's okay. I went to the supermarket. So that was nice. Supermarket, I got some groceries. It took a while, but but it's lovely and sunny today. So it's nice to kind of spend some time on the balcony. Okay.
Absolutely. These are some strange times we're living in where a trip to the grocery store is entertainment. Right? Hi, Johnny from Padua. I see we have a few more people tuning in. Guys, we'd love for you to say hi. So drop us a line, say hi, interact with us so we can add a little more value to these lessons. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Pakistani. I come from Karachi, which is in the south of Pakistan. I've been in Milan for about 3 years now. Marco from Rome wants to hear your voice.
Hi, Marco. Okay, at the moment there's no noise, so it's okay. But I don't want to interrupt your introduction. Okay, so guys, some of you know me. Hi, Paula again. So I'm Lisa. I'm from Ireland, and I've been living in Italy for 2.5 years. And tomorrow, even though I am here and I can't go out, I'm excited because it's St. Patrick's Day.
Woo!
Yay!
Gianni says, in these days, my only outdoor activities are food shopping at the supermarket, and then I'm at home. Same here.
Yeah, exactly. Same here. I am shopping at the supermarket more often than usual because it's how we can leave the house.
True, I am doing a lot more shopping and I'm baking a lot because that's something fun to
Nice.
do. Lisa baked
Lovely.
some really good food. Tell us, what have you baked this weekend? Because I'm sure you've done something.
So actually, I didn't bake anything this weekend because I was teaching on Saturday,
Hmm.
and then I was doing some housework and stuff. But last week during the week, I made some cinnamon and apple muffins.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, just for fun. But my next thing I want to make is a lemon drizzle cake.
Ooh, I made a lemon poppy seed cake. That was good. Mm.
Nice, lovely, yum.
Yep. And then I
Yeah.
made some cinnabons, which were also yum. But
Wow.
yeah, but my waistline is going to hell now because all I do
I
is
know.
eat these desserts that
I'm
I'm whipping up.
I'm trying to exercise at home more as well to try to try and like balance it out. It's difficult.
Sure.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay, tell us what you guys are baking or cooking. If you've made something interesting, something different, something difficult, let us know in the comments. In the
Yeah, or
meanwhile,
even
mhm.
Yeah, even just what you've been doing to keep busy at home, what you've been up to. But yeah,
Okay.
sorry. Go ahead, Michelle.
No, no, go for it. Sorry, I'm just cleaning my glasses.
No problem. Okay, so guys, what we want to talk about a bit today is personal values.
Hmm.
Okay, because usually everyone has their own values. So talking a little bit about this and some vocabulary as well. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, so then also we're going to talk about motivations as well, and just some of our own personal values and maybe why we have them or maybe where they come from. Okay, so Marco has made pancakes. Fantastic.
Yum.
I made pancakes yesterday too, actually. See, I forgot about that.
And Johnny says he shared a virtual English tea with his nephew. That's really sweet. Um,
Lovely, very nice.
I've been sharing a virtual glass of wine with my girlfriends. How about you, Lisa? Any virtual
Yeah,
activities?
we had a kind of a Saturday night. We just had tea on Skype with some of my friends, and we were thinking actually to start like a virtual book club.
Mm,
So that maybe like each week or something, as this situation continues, that we might all read a book and then we go onto a group chat or a group Skype and talk about the book. I think it's a cool
that's
idea.
yeah, that's really cool. A virtual book club. That's definitely something to think about in this period.
Yeah. Yeah, really nice. Okay, so will we take a look at the first question here? Sorry, well. Okay, so here we have quotes from Albert Einstein. Okay, so I'll read these because I think it's a little bit difficult to see them on the screen. Yes, Paula, virtual book club.
Yep,
You can
yep.
steal my idea if you want. Feel free to steal. It's not my idea, but I'm sure other people are doing it. So there are only two ways. There are only two ways to live your life. Okay, sorry, drilling is starting upstairs. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's not so
Sorry.
bad. I think we can
Um,
leave it on. The drilling is not so
are you
bad. I
sure?
think we can. Yep,
Okay, I'm worried. uh,
guys, let us
when you
know if you
take girl,
find the
an hour
drilling.
seems like. If the work upstairs is distracting you, please let me know. I'm sorry. When you sit on a
That's
red
it.
hot
Perfect.
cinder, a second or that's relativity. Okay. So we have two quotes here, and we
Mm,
want to discuss these. Okay. So take a look at them, and we want to discuss them. Separate things. Okay.
hmm
So, Michelle, what do you think about the first quote? And guys, share with us what you think.
I think the first quote is very interesting. It talks about, I think, being grateful and appreciating things around you, the tiny things in your life. And when he says one way is as though nothing is a miracle, and the other is, or everything is a miracle. When you think about it, the way we wake up in the morning, that's kind of miraculous in its way. Life is miraculous. The way the seasons change is miraculous. So I think Einstein is trying to really emphasize how you can either appreciate every tiny thing in your life, and that can bring you joy and can make you happier, or you can act like everything is just par for the course and very monotonous and very boring. And then that doesn't really bring you joy. And I think it puts you in a position where you are comparing yourself, right?
Yeah.
So that's my takeaway from it. What about you?
Yeah, definitely. And I think, yeah, it's kind of like, I suppose, the power of positivity versus negativity.
Mm.
In the first quote, that it's about appreciating, like you said, the little things in life, appreciating the little things, and also making the most of what you have, I think,
Hmm.
uh, versus maybe complaining about the things you don't have,
Yep.
I think. Okay, we have a question from Elisa. That's a good question. A cinder. Okay, a
Mm.
cinder. Okay. So in this case, so a cinder is like, it comes from the fire, right?
Yep.
It's the kind of the it's actually a block of wood that's on fire, or a piece of wood that's on fire, a cinder.
Yep.
So it's something that's still hot from the flame. So red hot cinder, in this case, it's like sitting on something that was on fire. Okay, something that burns you.
It can also be a piece of coal, right? So a small piece of wood or coal.
Oh, okay, so it's anything that's burning.
Yep, pretty much.
Hmm.
So when you say red hot cinder,
Okay, perfect. So
red hot. So when we say red hot cinder, red hot over here is a compound adjective, and it describes how hot it is. It's so hot that it's burning red.
mm, exactly, perfect. So I'm just going to see Marco's comment there about the
Mm-hmm.
approach to life. So I would just say, Marco, one thing we would say here, we would say it's about how you approach life. Okay, it's about how you approach life. Um, if you can appreciate even the little things. Exactly, really good.
Fantastic.
And Gianni, I consider the whole life okay. Okay, so I consider, we'd say, probably my whole life, okay, my whole life, or all life, if we're speaking in general, as a miracle. And therefore, I try to accept everything, okay, everything that occurs. Really good. Okay, excellent. Really nice. Um, and then what do you think? So, actually, maybe some people don't understand courting. Michelle, what does
Hmm.
that mean when you were courting a girl?
Okay, to court a girl is when you're trying to convince a girl that you are worth her time, right? We've all been there, whether you are courting someone or you are being courted, right? There's a guy, he
Exactly.
texts you, he sends you some flowers, makes you feel good about yourself. That is to court
Exactly.
someone. In Italian, you would say
Exactly.
conquest, the process
Mm.
of conquesting someone. But in English, we don't use the word conquest because we are not anyone's property, right?
Exactly. That sounds completely wrong in English if you
It
say
does.
conquest. My conquest.
Ew.
Okay. Very good. So
Elisa.
Elisa has said, okay, so I'll just put this up.
Mm-hmm.
For me, if nothing's a miracle, you see everything, okay, everything the rational way, and you hardly appreciate the little things. Okay, if nothing's a miracle, exactly. So in this way, yeah, you don't see things, um, see the little things. While seeing everything as a miracle allows you to live a happier and enjoyable life. Exactly. I completely
Mm-hmm.
agree. I completely agree. Really good. Excellent. And the second quote as well is talking about relativity as well. Relativity.
Mm.
What do you guys
So
Is it a bit different
Einstein
from
is
the
famous.
message in the first quote?
So Einstein is famous for many things, but one thing is his theory of relativity, right? And I think that's pretty interesting as a concept. What do you think
Hmm.
about his theory of relativity?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think in general, obviously, in terms of relativity from a scientific point of view, okay. Whereas if I talk about relativity in a day-to-day way, I think it's true because for a lot of people, they see things in their own way. And also how someone
Mm-hmm.
reacts to something, to a certain situation, is relative to how another person will react, because everyone is different. And it really just depends on a lot of different other things that are affecting um, that. So yeah, I think it's something that's very important, is being conscious um, of how different people approach different things, that everyone has their own skills and their own kind of, I guess, as we're talking about, values, that really have to be considerate of that.
Absolutely.
But
What do you guys think? No,
maybe
I completely
maybe
agree.
I've gone off on a tangent. Oh,
Elisa has something to say. She says in Italian, corteggiare is courting, well, whatever, is when you've finished courting and you're finally together. Absolutely. That's why I said the process of conquesting someone. I didn't know what the verb was. Thank you,
yeah,
Elisa, for sharing the verb with us.
really good. And yeah, Elisa, I agree that the quotes are definitely about different things. Okay, different
Mm-hmm.
things. So guys, let us know what's your opinion. So what do you think? What do you think about relativity? Okay, what do you think about relativity?
Do you agree with the second quote? How do you feel about it? Let us know. I definitely agree with the theory of relativity. Of course, having experienced it several times, like this hour, I know will fly by because I'm having a
Mm-hmm.
good time. But if I was
Yeah,
doing something painful, like the dentist, right? I know that
yeah,
hour is a long hour.
exactly, exactly.
Oh, Marco has gotten philosophy. Has brought on some philosophy.
Brilliant.
Experiencing things is personal, and time is often the inner time of your conscience. Ooh, okay.
Wow.
That's
Very
deep.
good. Yeah.
Okay, so here we've used the word time twice, right? So let's try to change our vocab a little bit. The thought
Hmm.
is beautiful, the sentiment is lovely, but what I would
Hmm.
change is, and time is often the
Would I mute my mic? Sorry.
time
I'm
is
gonna mute my mic.
time is often the inner clock of your conscience, or the clock is often the inner time of your conscience. Which one do you think is better, Lisa? And time is often the inner clock of your conscience. Okay, so this is actually a theory by Bergenson. Do you know Bergenson? What do you guys think? Do you agree with Marco? Do you disagree with Marco? He definitely has something very interesting to say from the French philosopher. The French philosopher that he refers to talks about the attempt to measure time and how that works differently. And he believes the true measure of time has eluded math and science. Of course, he lived way back. I'm not sure which year, but probably around the time 1922, because I know that he corresponded with Einstein, but that's all I
Okay.
know about him.
Uh, I'm just searching for it now. Yeah, 1927. He won a Nobel Prize.
Mm. Okay,
Yeah,
Elisa says she agrees with both Marco and Henry. Fantastic.
very good. Yeah, it's really interesting, that quote. It's very good. The inner clock of your conscience. Very good. Wow. Okay. So, will we move on to the next part?
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, so some definitions. Okay, so integrity,
Hmm.
compassion, and freedom. Okay. So what we want to do here is to get your opinion. Okay, your opinions on what these words mean to you. Okay, so what they mean to you. Okay, so we're going to try and define what integrity means in English, obviously. So, how we explain it. Okay, Gianni, very good. I agree with Marco. Fantastic. Really interesting conversation. So um, how can you define integrity, or what does it mean to you? And then we're going to look at the typical definitions. But obviously, I think everyone has their own definitions of these kinds of these personal values. What do you think, Michelle?
Well, I think for me, integrity is when you stick to your principles no matter how difficult things get.
Hmm. I'm gonna mute myself again, guys. Sorry.
Okay. No worries. Okay. So, for me, that's what integrity means. Sticking to your principles, to your values, no matter how hard things get. Because, according to me, a true test of a person's character is when things get tough. Do they abandon their principles in times of crisis, or do they stick to their principles, right? It's easy to stick to your principles when everything is going well, but when things get difficult and the going gets tough, that's when you really need to stick to your principles, and that's when it is usually the hardest. Elisa says, we can always learn very important and relevant things from the past, such as Bernardo de Chartres said, we're like dwarfs on a giant's shoulders. Wow, that is a lovely quote. Thank you, Elisa. Gianni says, to me, integrity is when your behavior is always in line with your values. Absolutely. Good word, Gianni. What does integrity mean to you guys? Johnny has let us know. What about you, Elisa, Paula? Paula says to live by your principles. Fantastic. Okay, what about compassion? How do you guys feel about compassion? What is compassion to you? And what is the difference between compassion, sympathy, and empathy? Right? There are three words which are used often, but do we really know the difference between the three? Okay, so let's start with compassion. What do you think compassion means? What is compassion for you? Lisa, what do you think compassion? Good work. Lisa is very proud of you. Okay, what do you think compassion means, Lisa?
So I often think of compassion as something like it's a lot to do with empathy.
Mhm.
So having understanding for other people, and kind of being considerate of them as well. When you have compassion, you're being considerate of um yeah, of the other people, and also, yeah, like we would say, kind of being empathetic towards how they're feeling, helping them in some way with that.
Absolutely. Gianni says compassion is to take care of someone. Absolutely. Compassion is when you see someone suffering and you have a desire to help them. right? As a willingness, it's a desire to help them in some way so they are suffering less, right? Marco has said feeling what the others feel and putting on their shoes, remember? And putting on their shoes. So this is not compassion, this is empathy. The ability to feel what someone else is feeling and walking a mile in their shoes is empathy, right? Gianni says sympathy is to be sorry. Very close. Sympathy is to understand what a person is feeling, right? So, compassion, you see someone suffering and you have a desire to help them in some way. Empathy, you feel what someone else is feeling. And sympathy is you understand, right? So empathy is not to understand. It's definitely stronger than sympathy, but empathy is when you can actually feel it, like um when your best friend goes through something painful, right? And you feel that pain, or your mom falls sick and you feel her pain. So that is empathy. Whereas sympathy is something less strong, and sympathy is what you feel when maybe you see someone sleeping outdoors on a cold night and you understand what they're going through. That is sympathy. Elisa says something really funny. Compassion is being able to understand others and comfort them, hopefully without competing for who is feeling worse. Okay. Absolutely. We hope there is no competition in your compassion because that defeats the point of compassion, right? Okay, one more thing. We would say worst. Why? Because it's a superlative. When you compare more than two things, you use a superlative. When you compare two things, you use a comparative. Okay? Next up, freedom. What does freedom mean to you? In this, I think in today's day and age, freedom means different things to different people. It depends on your gender. It depends on your nationality. It depends on your ethnicity. So, what does freedom mean for you? What does freedom mean for you, Lisa? Try it.
Hello? Can you
Okay,
hear?
we're back. Yeah.
Okay, that was strange. Okay, for me, okay, obviously at the moment we're kind of experiencing the opposite of freedom because we have to. Unfortunately, that is part of what we're all doing at the moment. But yeah, I guess freedom, I would say it has a lot to do with feeling independent. Um, being able to do what you want and not have someone interfere. But also, obviously, it's related to having your civil rights that you should have, like that you should have, but unfortunately, not everyone has. So yeah, it can be two things.
Right. So on one hand, it's the state of being free, and on the other hand, it's a political right. Right. It's
Yeah,
one of the basic rights in the in every constitution.
yeah, exactly. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna turn this off for a second.
No worries. Okay, Elisa says there are so many different types of freedom, freedom from and freedom of. Absolutely, Elisa. This is exactly what we were discussing, right? Freedom means so many different things. You can have freedom from being oppressed and freedom to do what you like. They're two different things. Okay, Marco says freedom of thoughts, of values, of living a decent life. Absolutely. These are innate human goals. And of course, we hope everyone has this. Johnny says freedom is his goal. Yeah, that's a good goal. Elisa says being free to do whatever you feel, but your freedom stops where others' freedom begin. Good job. Okay, so let's talk about this. Freedom is the respect of differences. So Paolo and Elisa have both touched on something that I believe is very important. It's about respecting other people, right? Let's take freedom of speech, for example. Absolutely. Yes, but freedom of speech is a civil and political right, because if you look at countries which are, or states which are campaigning for freedom of speech, they campaign for it as a civil and a political right, right? But your freedom should not impede someone else's freedom, which means it's what Elisa said. And I believe what that means is that, for example, let's take freedom of speech, because that is the most basic of freedoms. And if you were to say something horrible about either Lisa or I, for example, God forbid, but if you were to do that, you would be impugning our right, our freedom of expression as well, right? Because we are expressing ourselves and we are using our freedom of speech. But by disrespecting us, you would be hampering our freedom of speech by using your freedom of speech. Fantastic point, Elisa. Also, civil and political rights. Absolutely. Let's talk about freedom in the corona times, right? Freedom versus our freedom versus the freedom to do what we want versus protecting society as a whole. Okay, let's move on. Lisa has pulled up. Lisa has pulled up the definitions.
Yeah, so these are just the typical definitions that we have. Um, but I think we touched on these completely already in the discussion. So it's just kind of just as a reference point.
Okay, so let's just quickly read through this so you guys know what the pronunciation, what the words sound like. Okay, so integrity, firm adherence to a code of especially moral or artistic values. Compassion, sympathetic consciousness of others' distress together with a desire to alleviate it. Freedom, the quality or state of being free. Number two, a political right. So Elisa touched on both these points, the quality of being free and a political right. And she has gone on to say something very deep. Relating to what Paula said, freedom, giving freedom to others doesn't lessen yours, and many don't get it. Absolutely, I agree 100%. Being tolerant of others and allowing them to be free does not mean that it restricts our freedom. In fact, I personally think that it expands our definition of what it is to be free. Okay, so we're going to look about one of the most famous people from my country. Her name is Malala Yousafzai. Right, I'm Pakistani, she's Pakistani, but she's from the north and I'm from the south. The north of Pakistan is conservative and the south is very liberal. It's kind of opposite to what happens in Italy, where the north is more liberal and the south is more conservative. Okay.
It's interesting the way it's a dynamic. It's an interesting dynamic. Now, north and south.
Yeah.
Okay, here. So I'm going to the piece on the screen. So just 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
So I will share it so we can. So basically, what we want is we're going to read through the story. It's just a short piece, but please let us know if there's any vocabulary that you're not sure of, or maybe is a bit slower reading. Just take a second to load. Hey, technology. That's strange.
But in the meantime, why don't you guys write to us? And tell us what you think about this topic. I think it's very interesting, especially for a master class, so we can talk about really complicated things.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. We want to have interesting discussion with you and help you as well at the same time with your English. Okay, so if you want, Michelle, I can read this,
Yeah,
and
go
then,
for
as I
it.
said, guys, if you want to ask us any questions or anything on that, I hope you can see it. Okay, so my pronunciation is Michelle. Okay, education. So Malala Yousafzai was born in the Swat Valley of Pakistan in 1997. The daughter of an educator, she developed a fierce passion for learning. In 2009, however, the tower in the Swat Valley and imposed harsh rule based on the beliefs of Islam. After changes, they started restricting education. Malala began secretly blogging about concerns that her school would be attacked, continuing even after her identity was revealed. In 2011, Malala won Pakistan's first National Youth Peace Prize and began to advocate for education on a national scale. In October of the following year, a masked man from the Taliban entered Malala's school bus and began to arrest her and two other female students. Malala was taken to a hospital in England for months to recover. This attack did not stop Malala's activism, rather, it boosted her mission. In 2013, Malala co-founded the Malala Fund to work with girls attending school and receiving a high-quality education. In 2014, Malala shared the prize with another or human rights activist. In her accept said, "In this country, we must every child quality education. Just the politicians and the world leaders, we all contribute. Me, you, we. It is our duty." Malala has inspired activists to work towards just and peace. How will you join? Sorry for the background noise again, guys. Okay. So I imagine, Michelle, like this is probably something you, for you, growing up in Pakistan, that this whole kind of Malala's, I guess, her plea and also her her being an advocate for this is something that was, maybe, I don't know, maybe you can share with us that it was very big in Pakistan, or was it something that was being kept hidden?
Okay, so you have to understand that Pakistan is a very complicated society. So on one
Mm.
hand, you have very progressive people. I like to think of myself as progressive, who champion girls' education and women's rights and things like that. But on the other hand, you have a very conservative section. On the other
Sorry,
hand, no worries. On the other
you go
hand,
ahead.
there's a very conservative part of society which doesn't really appreciate, a woman spreading her wings, so to speak. So there was actually a massive publicity, massive covering over this. It was a really big deal even before she was shot, because the area that she lives in is very conservative, and the Swat Valley in particular was taken over by the Taliban. And what many people don't know, that the Swat Valley in Pakistan is actually known for being one of the most educated areas of the country, because the people there are very educated, they're industrious. We have some big industries there which had to shut down, unfortunately. But there was a lot of publicity, and after she was attacked, of course, there was a lot more, and some people felt that that it was a hoax. Some people still think it's a hoax. It's not real. it's a conspiracy theory by the Western powers. Those people are idiots because, as we know, it's very true. A girl did get shot for going to school. And I think the stand that she takes is very important, insisting that women deserve education and it doesn't really matter which class you are, what gender you are, which religion you come from. Education is a universal right. And the reason she mentions politicians and world leaders is because in Pakistan, the educated tends to be the elite class, the people who have, the money to go abroad to get educated, who have money for private schools, things like that. And the lower classes, unfortunately, don't really have the opportunity. Don't really get the opportunity. So, I'm a big fan of Malala, and
Yeah.
I have a lot of respect for what she's done. But unfortunately, it hasn't really the benefits of what she's done hasn't
Mm.
they haven't really trickled down to Pakistan, which is a
I
shame.
guess I guess in one respect, at least, she has created more of a global awareness. I would imagine, like a global awareness of this problem, because possibly a lot of people wouldn't have known about this if it hadn't have been for what happened. But yeah, unfortunately, it's disappointing to hear that it hasn't actually had an impact.
No, not the
Um,
way it has in the West. The West really idolize
mm,
her and they've given her a peace prize, which she deserves, of course. But
yeah,
unfortunately, the opinion in Pakistan is so divided that we haven't really been able to reap the benefits of such a wonderful human being.
yeah,
It's
it's
sad.
terrible.
It's really sad.
Yeah. Um, okay, so maybe should we just look at a little bit of the vocabulary? There doesn't seem to be
Definitely.
any questions. There doesn't seem to be any questions coming in, and I do think that the vocabulary isn't too difficult for
No,
masterclass.
not at all.
Um, yeah, so maybe even we can just discuss it a little bit with the guys. But when it says harsh rule, we're talking about very strict, okay, very strict and severe laws and rules that were in place in this case. And also, well, I think it's very clear that Malala was an advocate. So she is an advocate, and also we can use advocate as a verb. So to advocate for something. Okay. And then boosted. Okay, so Michelle, what does it mean to boost support?
To increase support.
Exactly. Exactly. So to boost something, to increase something. Okay, very good.
Paula has made a very interesting statement. She says benefits can take ages to become perceivable. What do you guys think about that? What is your opinion on Malala, on her impact on society? Write to us and let us know.
Yeah, exactly. So there are even, if it's okay, just I can change back to the presentation because there are some questions to discuss
Yep,
about this.
absolutely.
Okay, perfect. Just for the last that
So
we
just to
have.
reply to
So,
Paula, absolutely, benefits do take
mhm.
ages to become perceivable. But I think what's important is that when a country is in such a position, it needs to be in a position to be able to receive the benefits. Unfortunately, Pakistan is not in that position right now. There's still a lot of divided opinion about her.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's something that is quite complicated.
Gianni says, I really appreciate what Malala has done. Absolutely, me too. She's amazing. I think she's so brave and so courageous for doing what she did. Um, That's amazing. Okay, and Marco says to boost someone, I boosted my child in being. So you let's talk about boosting someone. You can give someone a boost, which means you can help them out in some way. For example, Lisa, can you think of an example for boost in helping someone?
Sorry, 1 second. So yeah, to boost, for example, to boost morale. To boost morale, we can say to boost the atmosphere, like to give them energy, or also to give someone a boost in energy. Sorry, I'm gonna mute.
Yep.
It's too loud.
Okay, now we've read Malala's fight for female education in Pakistan. Tell me what you guys would do. If we all continue to support Malala's cause, she will be even more successful. If I were Malala, I would speak to the government. If Malala hadn't started her work, we wouldn't have been inspired to help her cause. There's something funny that you guys don't know though. Um, good work, Johnny. Yes, to boost your efforts. So it's really strange that in the village that Malala grew up and her community where she was shot, the girls actually had a much harder time getting educated after she left because they were being punished for her actions. So that's really sad. The women left behind were had a bigger battle to fight in terms of gaining access to education because the Taliban wanted to make an example out of Malala and made it very hard for the girls left behind to continue obtaining an education. Okay, so what would you do? Would you speak to the government? Do you feel like if she hadn't started her work, you would not be inspired? Or do you think continuous support will help her become even more successful in her endeavors? What do you guys think? Write and let us know. But in the meantime, shall we move on? Okay, it's not hard to make decisions once you know what your values are. Do you agree, or what values can help you make your decisions? Okay, what do you guys think? That once you know what you want, once you know what you stand for, decisions become easy because your moral compass dictates which direction you should take, right? Your moral compass it's not a real compass. It's a hypothetical compass that lives inside you and tells you when you are making a decision that is contrary to your morals or your values. Um, okay, as you guys, we are aware of the situation only thanks to Malala. She must be supported. Absolutely, Gianni. Malala must be supported. She's doing some important work. Elisa says, I think that a person with real strong integrity can agree, but anyway, everyone should see the situation before taking this decision. Okay, so you don't, before making the decision. So Elisa makes a really valid point. She says that yes, if your integrity is really strong, yes, then this is easy. But you need to evaluate the situation, each situation on an individual basis, which is absolutely what I think. I think, yes, you can have a moral compass, but you definitely need to evaluate each situation individually because no two situations are alike and life has a lot of gray, right? It's not always black and white. Life lives in the gray areas. So you have to figure out how to navigate that. Okay, unfortunately, we're out of our time. If you like what we're producing, come back later. Come back in 10 minutes. And there will be another masterclass waiting for you.
Tomorrow, Michelle. Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow, sorry.
Yeah,
There's another
only one a day.
masterclass
Sorry.
waiting for you tomorrow. But
There
we
will be
do
another
have
10 to 13. 10 to 13 focus. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So join our 10 to 13 focuses, and
Yeah.
you can learn a lot more there. If you have any questions, guys, you can write to us on our Facebook page, MySOS. I
Yes.
hope
Okay.
we've answered all your questions. Lisa,
And sorry
any
for the
final words?
noise again, guys.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I can't control this situation, unfortunately. But thank you so much for your participation, and it was really interesting to talk to you guys about this. And thank you for your patience
Absolutely.
with me.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts, your opinions, your philosophy with us. We loved it all. Okay, guys,
Bye,
stay
guys.
safe. Bye.